I'll tell you my best player heckle story, and hopefully he's Brett Anderson, played for us at College of Charleston. Brett still lives in Charleston. He's got a great career. He laughs because I love telling this story. Well, we go to play Georgia. College of Charleston, we're going to play a Tuesday night and a Wednesday afternoon game. And Brett was really good. This was the Brett Gardner was on the team. We had a really good team. We go in, and in right field at Georgia, they used to all sit on that hill before they kind of ran all the frat out of there to some way. And they're just yelling the most personal things, like a girlfriend's name, his pet's name, his best. I mean, things that I'm going, there must be your best friend goes to Georgia and sold you out. So he came in the dugout, and after about 3 innings, he is clearly rattled. He was our middle of lineup hitter. Coach Pulowski ended up taking him out of the game. He had gotten so rattled by their fans. And when we get back to the hotel that night, I go around to do room check. And I go in his room, and he actually roomed with Brett Gardner. They were roommates at home and on the road and everything. And Brett Gardner is laughing like a child. And I said, what's so funny? He goes, we just found out how they know all that stuff that they just did. And they called him BA. He said, now we know. I said, what happened? Well, a heckler had called his mom and told him that Brett had won an award, and they just made up this elaborate, and she did over an hour interview with the heckler on the phone. She had no idea it had anything to do with Georgia, anything. His mom called that night, because this was back before games were on TV, and called and said, hey, they're going to get you while you're there. You've won a prestigious baseball award. So the poor kid now is just laughing like, Mom, you told them my nickname as a child. You told them our pet's name. You told them my high school girlfriend's name. Why would you have ever thought they needed to know all that? And she's like, he was so nice. The young man doing the thing to present this to you was so nice. So it was, to me, that was, and that supposedly they did that a lot in the right field group in Georgia. It was unbelievable how they did it.
That is brilliant.
The guy that would get me the most was at Auburn. And I started going there, obviously, as a first base coach with South Carolina. And then I went back, and I would hear him get on Tolman, and I thought it was so funny. And then I would go back years later at Ole Miss, and he wore me out. I mean, he really was. It was the funny stuff, though. I mean, if you'd like scratch your face, and he would just catch stuff that was really funny to like throw us, and you just eventually had to turn around and laugh. Because it wasn't like, hey, you're ugly and all that. It was funny. If you backed up, he'd beep. He would always – it was just funny stuff. But I think the funniest heckle I ever heard yelled at us, and Coach Tanner acted like he never heard anything, but we're at Arkansas. And we have one of those meetings in front of the dugout where they're talking to their pitcher, and he calls everybody in. So Tolman comes over, I come in, and he's talking to the hitter, and this fan yells over the dugout at me because they'd been wearing me out pretty good at Arkansas. And he goes, hey, Coach Lake, is the interview process at South Carolina be a coach like, hey, do you weigh 250 pounds? Yeah. Hey, you're hired. And it was just the way they said it. Even Coach Tanner just stopped, looked at the guy over the first base dugout and smiled. And they all started clapping because we're standing there, and I was the little one. I mean, that was when Coach Tanner was, 240, 245 pounds. Tolman was, he'd say, 3 bills, and I'm coming in at about 230 at that time. So I'm like, yeah, I'm the skinny guy in this meeting. And it was just Arkansas could get you. I screwed up in 18. One of the big ladies behind me at Arkansas wore me out when we were there in 18. I mean, wore me out. She had the nose on like the old Redskins fans used to wear, and they just wore me out. I remember they beat us really bad the first game. It would have been like a 10-run rule if there was one. And we came back, and we were winning the second game. And clearly. So I turned to a fan and I said, hey, I wouldn't believe this calling of the Hogs thing y'all did until I saw her. Well, they actually started laughing until they got me on the next game. And she actually ended up just going over and fist bumping her on Sunday because she's like, that was really good. You got me. But I'm ready for you today. And they beat us in a really good game. And she stayed until the end to actually fist bump me and say, you're welcome here anytime because you took it, you enjoyed it, because I laughed at them. No one said anything besides Southern Miss really personal, calling me fat or short or tall or ugly. It was funny, and it was always the best. But that guy at Auburn and that lady at Arkansas, I'd go back to just see them now because they just had great jokes. I mean, they would say stuff about our team. You know, hey, Coach Lake, go tell Coach Tanner to stand up. And it was just funny stuff that you just had to not turn around because you were laughing.
So that's the protocol. I guess, when do you know that it's okay to acknowledge the heckler? It just has to be that good, or the game has to be in a certain place?
Well, you know what it really is? It's when you respect each other. Like, I've gone places, believe me, Coach, and you're just getting beat and getting hammered, and they're just heckling, and you're just ready to leave. I mean, there's no respect. They know you're not good enough, and they're going to get you. And when you go to places and everybody picks on me. I'm still love to see the adult in a football jersey. All right. I like that. I like people that wear jerseys. I like people that drive. I'm a Cleveland Brown fan, for goodness sake. I love that. I love people that come to the game and have fun. To me, I don't want to turn and see you in a nice button-up shirt and khakis at a game. I love seeing fans in football jerseys. Why not? What the heck else are you going to wear them for unless you're on, flag football team? So wear those jerseys. I love it. And Arkansas was really good at it. Auburn just was a group of them. They were like the old Gamecock third base hecklers. It was just a group of old men that really sat over there, but they had some funny lines. And they would always get you at the end of the series and talk to you. They were really, heck, I'm still actually follow a few of them on Twitter.
When you have the background, when you do it the right way, there is some magic there, man. That is, like Jan says, he loves heckling teams from the third base dugout from his seat above the Founders. He misses yelling at you to get back in the coach's box.
I was going to say, Jan heckled me. So, yeah, it was fun. And Jan, but guys like Jan are what the SEC are. When you get to be in that league, and I was fortunate to be in it for over a dozen years, you actually have people you enjoy going to see. Like I said, the guy at Auburn, I knew he was going to wear me out from first pitch to last pitch. But I'd go over before the game, fist bump the guy. Or at the end of the series, say, hey, he was, hey, we're going to travel over when we play there next year. We're coming to the football game next year. And I mean, the lady at Arkansas, honestly, it became fun. We had played there that year twice, and it was fun. And Jan and our guys, I mean, like I said, there was nothing more fun to me than run over to third base when I was here and had them guys yelling and get to point at them and listen to them through the game. There were many times me and a third baseman would be laughing because of some of their comments, and sometimes they were comments toward us. I've had a third baseman go, man, they're tough on you guys. I was like, just wait. It's still early. If we don't get this thing going, wait till Sunday if we don't get it going. So, I mean, but I've always felt if you do it the right way and you're not just trying to be nasty or cruel, that's part of baseball. I mean, it really is of getting to come in the stadium and have fun. And, again, not, going over the line. Our fans at South Carolina never went over the line, in my opinion. And I don't remember, besides Southern Miss, anyone ever really getting that nasty over the line. And that's why that's another part of the game you miss when you're not getting to do it.
Well, it's a sign that they care about what's going on, right? And that's what you connect to, isn't it? It matters to them. It mattered enough for them to get after me and the whole thing. But ultimately, it matters as much to all of us, and that's what you share, right? That shared, not just respect, but how much it matters to you.
Yeah. I got one more good heckling story if we have time.
Absolutely.
We're at Ole Miss. Oklahoma had to beat Southern Miss to play us that night to beat us twice in a regional. Their game goes on for honestly, 4.5, 5-hour game. It started at noon. Our fans got there at Ole Miss and started in right field partaking of drinks to watch Southern Miss just so they could boo them. And then Oklahoma wins, and we turn around and play a 7 o'clock game that night. And were worn out. But as the game starts, the fans, that right field area was just becoming famous at Ole Miss. But they were really good too. You keep seeing this big poster they've made on sticks. And I'm saying 15-foot tall, big sticks. And they would hold this poster up and yell at Sonny Galloway, who coached Oklahoma. Well, at the time, I didn't realize what it was. He gets irate, goes to the plate guy, and they would hold it up. And as soon as you could see everybody looking, they'd pull it back down, they'd hide it. And the umpire comes over to Coach Bianco and goes, hey, they're not going to be able to keep doing that in right field. It's distracting Sonny. He goes, well, it's not even on. I don't know what it is. What do you want me to do? He goes, I don't know. Let's hope they don't do it again. Well, Tim, I don't know if you know Sonny Galloway, where I'm going with this story.
I think so.
Yeah. His daughter had been in a magazine in the middle of it, and they had taken that thing and then enlarged it to poster size and would keep holding it up and yelling his name to the point security finally went out and said, hey, look, you can't keep doing this. Driving this. He was about to lose his mind. And we're in the dugout. None of us know. So finally one of our players go, hey, coach, that's his daughter's picture. And I'm like, oh, geez. And he was so irate. The umpire at third kept telling me, this guy's going to get thrown out of the game. And it has nothing to do with any of it. He was so mad at the umpire for letting it go on a little bit longer that we beat them that game 20-5.
Wow.
I mean, it wasn't even close. We scored 10 in the first 2 innings. He complained about that for the next 3, and then the game just kind of ended. And even in his press conference after, he talked about how Bush League the Ole Miss fans were and most people were like, what are you even talking? We don't know what you're talking about, because the picture wasn't that graphic that they were holding up. They kept doing the thing. And you were like, but I just went to our fans after the game. I said, whose idea ever this was? This was fun. I mean, you just had to laugh because it worked. Heckling is to get you out of your game. It worked when they got our right fielder. We had to take him out of the game. I mean, he couldn't even focus. I mean, he dropped the fly ball that day. He struck out his first at bat, and Coach Pulowski took him out. And that day, I mean, they were mad about stuff that we didn't even know what was going on. So sometimes heckling, I guess, works.
No doubt about it. When you do it right,
Yeah.
it works. And when you do it especially uniquely, it works. Man, great stuff, Stuart.